I didn't come up with a better name for this talk, but actually, when I talked to him last week and I was showing him the draft of my talk, he said, well, you're going to do well. Just make sure there's some conclusions at the end, OK? OK. So here you are, conclusions. I'm going to say a few things, and I hope they will make sense by the end of this talk. Well, the first thing I want to talk about is that there's some ideas that can stick, especially great ideas. And these ideas can stay inside you, and they can really affect your creative path, and without you even noticing. And then the second thing is that technology, especially great technology, is a big amplifier of these ideas, or enabler of these ideas, right? So, long time ago, I watched this really great talk, a classic talk by Bret Victor called Inventing on Principle. So this is the presentation that was over 14 years ago, where he said that there should be a principle, and his principle was about creating an immediate connection between the creator and the things that they're creating. But what was really cool is that he came up with these demos where basically there was a time travel game. You can do live reload with code. You can do a whole bunch of cool stuff that I think nowadays it's not new anymore, but back then it was like revolutionary. And then around the same time, I watched another talk by Stuart Memo. And that was the one where he basically talked about WebAudio API in the browsers. And he built his own guitar effect in the browser. And he actually played the real guitar on stage. And again, that was...
Can I say something about our other speaker?
What's that? Was that you? No, well, and I thought, well, this is so cool. I mean, this is JavaScript. And that was actually the talk that introduced me to JavaScript and web. And to be honest, getting back to Bret Victor's talk, I didn't really have a principle. I was too young back then. But what impressed me is that there is this thing that you can create with, and that was web and JavaScript. So again, I'm no Bret Victor, but I started doing my first experiments with JavaScript. That right now it looks a little bit silly, but for my learning systems course, I built this thing in pure.js, and I used the library that actually Bret Victor made. And it was like the diagram where you can change parameters and see how PID controller works. So that was it. It was just pure.js, and that was a lot of code, and it was ugly. But it did work, and it kind of proved, and for me it was really important because it proved that, hey, there is this canvas that you can create things with. And then fast forward some years, I was giving a talk about animations in React. And actually that was the time when React was announced in 2014, I guess. And then that was the time when I started using it a lot. And I realized that now you can build these interactive experiences faster and easier, because basically React gives you like these Lego blocks that you can bind together. And then you can also use React hooks, and then these are compositional blocks that encapsulate some logic, right? Pretty cool. And then, yeah, React is like building blocks. It enables you to do interactive experiences faster than in pure.js. And then there's some other technology, and in my particular case, that was when I discovered MDX, that actually can blur a line between the content and the code. And for those who don't know, MDX is like an extension of Markdown format, where it's just a regular Markdown, but there's like some bits of JSX that you can write. So you can literally write expressions, you can add components inside the text or as standalone blocks, etc. So I was like, wow, this is so great. Now you don't even have to, do that by hand. You can actually just write a Markdown file, and you can make it interactive. So that's when I decided to write this short story. It was my personal project. It's called Domik, and I thought, well, what if I can build a book where you have to actually immerse with some puzzles and games as you read the book. So one of the things was that you actually have to find some hidden gems, and then in order to unlock the second half of the book, you had to pick the code. There was also one game, I guess we're going to see it soon. Yeah, these are the gems that you find. This was the one to unlock the message on the right. And then there was the game where you could build your own house and basically take a picture and save it because it was about houses. And yeah, fast forward many years. Last year was the year of AI agents. I started playing around. I did some, traditional RAG, LLMs, all that sorts of things. And I was blown away again. I mean, this is a great technology. That's, again, a new enabler for even more cooler experiences. And then I decided to make this challenge and ask, can I actually make an agent that doesn't have a chat input, that doesn't have text at all, that only has a certain object that it can, talk to you through. So I made this demo. Some music here. I'm actually really bad at it. I don't know how to play, but this is the reason why I built it. So basically, here you can see this is like a piano, which I hope I can show you, but this is just it's a CSS grid with a bunch of shadows, just like a really, really big. Anyway, so you can use this piano to play. Wait, let me see if this works. This one? Nice. Again, I'm not good. You can connect your own MIDI device and stuff like that, but actually, when you interact with it for the first time, the agent launches, starts thinking, and it can ask you something, and then in order to proceed, you have to choose, and you actually have to play in a note that, I don't know. And yeah, you can ask it to play a melody. And in this case, the agent will use so-called client-side tools. It's like functions that it calls. Yeah, I specifically prompted it not to play any silly melodies, but I guess I failed. Yeah, and yeah, basically it uses like these client-side tools where like functions that the agent can call in your browser. So now it's like a lesson. It explains how chords work. The distance. Does that look legit? Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, so that was like, okay, interesting. And then suddenly we all realized, not just me, we all realized that AI can do coding, and it actually does it really well. It does it so well that now we don't actually have to write any code. And then this term wipe coding was coined, and lovable bold v0, etc. They're doing really well. And I'm like, wow, this is so cool. What if I can build a wipe coding agent? But what I will do, I will introduce artificial constraints, and instead of producing any kind of app that you can build with these platforms, right, like a SaaS or like a music app, whatever, I will specifically introduce some constraints, and I will only target like a subset of the apps that you can build here, but I will also make sure that these apps are, better made, sort of say. Anyway, so I decided to build this thing, an agent that can build apps that are, number one, embeddable, so they don't have any scroll, they always fit on one screen. You can embed them in your apps. They're real-time, because backends is actually a big thing. And if you have wipe coded before, like setting up the backend, deploying, they're doing better now, but still, it's a big issue. So I decided that these apps should be local first and real-time by default. And the final thing, I wanted to be really opinionated on things like design, or what libraries it should use, colors, etc. So that was the challenge. Yeah, and now the live demo, which I hope is going to work, because you're going to be the first ones to actually see it in action. Oh, shit. Okay. This is just like something that I've wipe coded, and it changes to like a, yeah. Oh, just give me a second. Yeah.
That's some good security you have.
I only have one user so far. With 16. Yeah, it worked. Okay, cool. So this is the app, and one of the things that I wanted to do was that I wanted to be as user-friendly as possible. So you don't have to see the code at all. So if you use Lovable, there's always like a code tab. I wanted to avoid that. I don't think I achieved that 100%, but I think I try to make sure that it's fully abstracted. So you can start with the prompt as usual, and it's like it can suggest you what kind of apps you can build with it. There's also a gallery of already pre-made apps that you can clone and fork. But what I wanted to build is, let me just use my voice. Could you help me to build a collaborative whiteboard where people can leave stickers of poop or love emojis, and also they can leave text notes, and use grid pattern for background. Okay. So what's happening here is that the agent is going to look around, see what it has available, also read some design guidelines that I wrote for it, and then it's going to figure out how to work with the backend. Now it actually defines some like tables in the database that it's going to use, and now it's writing the file. I decided to give the agent like an access to its own not like fake file system. So this file system is where it can only edit one file, and that's, what was that, app.tsx, right? After that, it's done. Now it's gonna, and then it even can change the name of the app, so you can see it here. Now, actually, let's see if it works. Because it's a collaborative thing by default, you can test it in like single mode or like in dual mode. So you can see, actually, oh no, wait, let me. I want to see cursors and names of other users, of other participants in this app. And also launch a confetti when I add a sticker. I'm actually just going to, I'm going to let it cook, OK? I'm going to get back to my slides just for a little thing. Yeah, so when I talked about constraints, just wanted to touch this topic a little bit. So this is everything that it has access to. And again, these files are either read-only or the agent, or they're generated for the agent. It only can edit this one, so it only can write like a simple React component, and that's it. But it also has like a set of like pre-installed libraries. Actually, this is not a full list, but basically I've made a big list of like curated libraries that I wanted it to use. So if you want to use confetti, use this one because it's a proven one. You want to use sound, use that one. This one is for like animating numbers if you want to build some kind of counters. And also I put together this like documents folder where I wrote markdown documents on certain topics, like for example, how to use the database, how to use icons, how to play sounds, how to use the device motion, etc. Let's get back to it. Let's see if it worked. Yeah, now we can see cursors. Cool. But actually, I think when we talk about collaboration, testing it like that is not fun, right? So I built another mode, which is where you can actually take these widgets that you generated and combine them into like a slideshow. So let's try that. So yeah, I'm gonna take this one maybe. So you can, let's add like a welcome, welcome screen. Put it here. Then I think there was a game. And that one. OK, let's try that again. OK, cool. And I have this QR code that is supposed to be working. Yeah, it should work. It should work the same. So basically, you can use your phone to scan this one, and then we will see you appear here. And if you when you connect, you can actually type your name, or you can generate it with AI, or you can, oh yeah, seems like it's working. Well, that's pretty cool. You also asked it to launch some particles as people connect. Nice. Wow, thank you. That's super. Oh yeah, someone used a picture. Nice. Super cool. Okay, let's move forward then. But this one is like, is it going to work? OK, maybe we. This one was supposed to be like the one that accesses your device's battery, and it makes it like a chart of, and then it also shows like a table of people with like less than 20% of charge. That let's assume that it worked. Yeah, cool one. But actually, wait, some technical issues. Anyway, one of the things that I also did was that when you just give your agent code and guidelines, it's also not enough to produce good design, because sometimes you need things like fonts or images or even sounds. So another thing that I built was, and please don't disconnect, we're going to try that one more time. Another thing that I tried was like, I added this way for you to like upload some files, and then you can tell the agent that, hey, I need you to use this sound or whatever. So let's see if it works again. Okay, cool. So this one is, it's like a techno player. And then you have to shake your phones in order to make it faster. Yeah. Slow down. Yeah. Let's try to keep it at like normal level. Nice. That's a next track. Keep shaking. Okay, that's enough. Yeah. Anyway, what I was talking about. Let me get back to my slides. So I guess this is the end of my talk. And as I already said, there was conclusions at the beginning, but then while I was doing that, I also realized that I do have my principles. And looking back at the work that I've done, I realized that there are certain common themes. And one of the things is that, for me, it's important to have interactivity over static content, right? If you have something like web, that's an infinite possibilities for that interactivity, and we should all try to utilize it. Then I also think that I deeply care about real time and collaboration. I think when people can see each other, when they collaborate, when there is like sharing of emotions, that's really important for me. And then finally, I think code has always been a canvas for creative expression, but these days it's even more true and important. Thank you.